Good afternoon. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Duffers Review, the 19th hole. This is where we come into, we talk about this week in golf. This is episode 21. We are going to be live. It's going to be actually a really good show today. So much so because we're going to be doing a recap I wanted to do last week. And lucky enough, I've been bringing to the stage here today to join me are two gentlemen that they just somehow know how to bring the nonsense every time. Even getting ready for the show, these two these two have brought some absolute joy to my trip. And Nubby Nubbison here, like, he is the vibe. He needs to change his on-screen name to the vibe because he brought it all 3 days. But let's do this. This is the 19th hole. This is where we come in and talk about golf and everything golf related. So instead of just showing you guys pictures of these guys here, let's bring them in. First to the stage, Nick, out of Reno. Welcome to the show. And
thank you.
Also, there he is. I hope you can hear us now. You turned up the volume. Can you hear us?
I got you, man.
All right, he's
there he is.
House. Gentlemen,
Big Daddy.
First off, cheers up. I see you got your drinks. Cheers. Mine's showing up on my thing. He's got twisted tea. He's not even doing anything real with that. Look at this guy.
It's okay. There's a lot of it.
First of all, hey, welcome to the 19th hole. So this is Duffers Review 19th hole. I come out here every week and I talk about everything kind of going down in golf. Just as a simple podcast, right? Let's talk about what's happening this week in golf, what's going down. But I had you guys on because it was 2 weeks ago now. I was invited out by Nick to come play in Reno to do a review of a couple courses. So first off, Nick, I'm going to give you the stage. How did you even run into the Duffers?
So, pretty funny story, actually. My family and I were playing at a municipal course in Palm Springs. And I believe, I can't remember, maybe you can help me refresh my memory, Dave, but it was either my dad or myself. I think it was myself because my dad was giving me a hard time for it, but I hit into you. And you guys were filming in the middle of the fairway. And when we rolled up, I felt like an asshole because I was like, oh man, we hit into these guys. I don't know what they're doing, but
sounds legit.
Yeah. And Dave, I apologized to Dave, and he's like, hey man, it's all good. We're out here filming a golf review show, but there is one penalty for hitting into me. And he opens up the dude bag and makes my entire family take a shot. He was super rad. He gave us his card and he gave us stickers. And I'm thinking, man, this guy needs to come up to Reno. Like, hands down, this would be a good time. So it was all history from there, man.
Which makes out for one of the things we talk about most in all the reviews. All right. I love playing with the community, right? I want to play with fellow Duffers. It's more fun when you get the invite, right? When they know what they're kind of walking into. There's a lot of reviews you've seen me post on my channel that, we get some randoms. You just kind of show up and you get the guys that are just happen to be playing in that foursome on the day. Some can be dry, some can lean right into it. But when you go out with a true Duffer, and when you guys see the episodes that are going to drop from the Reno event, I can honestly say they're going to be probably some of the best shenanigans we've filmed to date. And it's why I wanted to bring them on to chat about a little bit of a recap. But I also wanted to give the stage back to a couple sponsors that showed up, really came out and, dove into the Duffer life, playing Duffer's rules, playing, for golf. Like we really turned it up, and I really wanted to talk about what that actually kind of entails. So I think a lot of people may see the reviews, they see, hey, like, subscribe, let me know where you want to play next. I think that let me know where you want to play next is really where I have you guys on today, is to talk about, hey, Nick, he ponied up, he put it right out there. It's like, hey, come to Reno. And I'll give Nick some credit because between all the scheduling and stuff we had to do around here, he pressed a couple times. He was in Palm Springs. He was like, hey, here and here. And we just couldn't get the calendars to work right. And we finally sat down and we got it all tweaked out. And mad kudos to Nick, your wife, what do you call it? Tipsy and
Tito
and Tipsy. Absolute, pleasure meeting.
No, buffering.
It was absolute, craziness, all involved. So let's kind of like how we got here today, right? That's how we kind of got here today. So the Reno recap. Before we get into some of the shenanigans of it all, tell me about. We had two groups, right? We had the Heartbeat brand sponsor around where we kind of got out there, got naked right off of the first showing and changed over out at Washoe. And give me a little bit backstory on that.
So the Heartbeat brand started as kind of the company that originally started was a staple out of Lake Tahoe called Tahoe Heartbeat. And the owner, Parker Alexander, amazing guy. He literally started the company by drawing on hats with like a Sharpie or something, like an EKG with an outline of the
By drawing.
Yeah, by drawing. You're good at that. You know what I'm talking about. We have a tattoo artist here on set today. So he started by drawing this EKG Lake Tahoe outline and then started getting them embroidered, found different hats to get them embroidered on, and then it exploded all over northern Nevada because people love Lake Tahoe, and then decided to make a full-on brand out of it by basically embroidering or creating an EKG out of people's passion. So it could be the heartbeat for hunting, the heartbeat for baseball, the heartbeat for football, and obviously there was a heartbeat for golf. And those of us that play golf, whether or not we're good at it, we love golf. It might frustrate the hell out of us, but it's fun. So he made these hats, and I told him that we were going to be on Duffers Review. Told him kind of the background of what the show's about, and he flipped out. He was like, yeah, man, like, please wear my stuff. And he wanted to be a part of it. He wanted to come down. He wanted to meet you. He wanted to meet the whole crew. But he just moved to Hawaii, and his brand's exploding. It's all over the world now.
He's obviously in the better spot to be playing golf than hands down. He gets atmosphere on the win on that one.
Yeah. So, but he was stoked, man. Like, he was like, hey, I'd love for you guys to wear some of our hats and just, represent and show the love for the heartbeat for golf. And I was like, dude, like, this is what has to go down. So obviously having our crew wear the hats, which Colin showed up and represented today, that was legit, man. That was so cool. So he's pumped as his brand grows. Man, this martini's hitting me already.
It's dirty.
It's dirty, man. It's really dirty. I think this was like a cool like shove off point for that like sector of his brand. Gosh damn it.
His brand
to grow. So, hey man, Duffers rules. What the hell? I'm just gonna go ahead and shut up now.
Yeah, drink, fucker.
Well, so yeah, man, like I think he's just super pumped that we were able to go out there, have a good time while repping his stuff for sure.
And it was greatly appreciated. As you will see in the episodes where we got to rock out in that gear. And here's what was great. The gear was phenomenal. I have zero bad points about it. The material for the hats, it was very breathable. I usually am very, very picky when it comes to the hats and stuff that I wear.
Oh, same.
So it immediately just kind of like fit the mold, for us going out there and golf. And I love the heartbeat aspect. to golf, right? You know, it's what kind of the Duffers thing is. You know, you live and breathe, you know, golf around this house. It's crazy. I don't think there's a room you could walk in the house of Duffer here, and there's not some sort of golf something, you know, associated, whether it's a tees left on the table and, you know, golf balls rolling around the floor. So, I mean, it's a, you know, house haven of golf. So it really felt great to, you know, to have them as part of the shenanigans that we went into. But they weren't the only ones. And I'm going to mess this up. I know this because they're so close in a naming structure. The other one is the Nevada Love.
Tahoe, Nevada Love.
Tahoe, Nevada Love. And Pat?
Sure.
Adam.
Yeah.
Adam, thank you. Adam. Actually came out and played with us. Now, here's the thing I like about this. And I would love to have Adam on for his own segment and session to talk deeper, you know, about his passion, what he's doing. But for day one, and we're going to kind of slide, it's going to be my transition in here. We're going to day one of getting these guys out to play golf. We hit a Muni course. It was a warm-up course. And he rolled up in ultimate Duffer fashion on hole 2, right?
Yeah, late.
Oh yeah, he was super late. Yeah.
Ultimate Duffer fashion, hole 2. Swinging, you know, bags of shirts and swag and everything for us. So there's nothing funnier than working with the, you know, editing teams of going, hey, this episode started with, like, I think we're missing a whole bunch of, you know, footage. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, it goes, well, your guys' outfit just changed, you know, right after the first hole. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right. That's what we did, you know. So, so it was full blown.
That is what happened.
You know, costume change right in the middle of the course, which was great. Now, here's what's cool is the shirts themselves. He had a couple different materials. Right?
Yeah.
I think, Colin, you had like the sport wicking material, right? Yours was a sport wicking?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and I had a little bit more of a, like, I'd almost say like kind of what we're falling into, like a fall polo. It's a little bit more cotton-esque. Very, very comfortable. It didn't, you know, chafe in any swing or any way, fashion, where some of those can. So again, he came out strong and he could play. That was great too. So I mean, he was able to step up and play and throw some, you know, challenges and shenanigans down. We threw some ad hoc challenges, you know, at the event, to shortest drive to longest drive, not hitting the sand trap drives. And it made for some phenomenal content. And I can't wait for these episodes to drop. They're still going through first roughs, and the editing team has been texting me. This is some of the funniest stuff I've seen
Nice.
today. So it really showed the advantage of being kind of like hosted and brought out by other Duffers that just want to have fun golfing. Right? There was never a, like, you know, an ultimate scorecard. We all kept our scores, but it wasn't this, you know, like, you know, you 3-putted that, you know, like this. It was like, you know, did you chip that in? That wasn't a chip. And there was no arguments. It was more for the fun and the, you know, the camaraderie of golf.
Well, everybody's so like, when you play golf with a group like that, everybody's so like encouraging. Everyone wants to do everyone wants everyone to do well. Like, it doesn't matter if you screw up or not. Like, everyone's trying to encourage each other. I mean, yeah, we're gonna laugh and point when there's stupid shit that goes down, but everybody's out there to just encourage each other and have a good time. And I thought that was amazing.
So one of my favorites, which is debuting next week, and I purposely held it off a week because we've got kind of a little celebrity here that I'm going to talk a little bit about. Nick here, was this your first dunk? Was this your first hole-in-one?
It was.
All right, so here's I'm going to kind of give you the backstory of this. So when you play with the Duffers, we have what's called the Par 3 Challenge. All right, when you step up to any Par 3,
Vegas.
It's the Duffers Review Las Vegas Challenge. So anyone in the group that manages to hit a hole-in-one, Duffers will take you and we'll go to Vegas for a Vegas golf trip. Now, We've come close. I've had some, hit the pins. I've had some, 1 inch before dropping, the thing. I've put some scare on my wallet, and I always get nervous with once you learn about different groups. It's not the fear of the trip itself; it's the fear of who you get to take, right? It's the and I learned real quick with Aaron, Nick, and Colin. It's not the fear of Las Vegas. I think it's the fear of these three in Las Vegas is really what the problem is.
Fair.
I think we would lose Aaron first.
Yeah, we lost Aaron in the second 2 rounds. So I mean, just it is what it is. So, what was so unique about this is the very next weekend, Nick is out in another tournament, and I don't want to steal your glory or anything, but you stepped up to a par 3. Walk us through that par 3.
So this was one of the larger local events put on by this big mortgage company here in Reno. And it's a big charity event. They donate to one of the local children's hospitals. And I mean, like, I remember being like at the opening ceremony or whatever, when it's a shotgun start, all the carts are ready and stuff, and they're doing this big spiel. And they had mentioned that a couple holes had sponsors for hole-in-ones and stuff. And I mean, that's the last thing on my mind. And to be honest, like, this is one of those tournaments where, when you're 3 holes in, everybody's hammered. And I made a goal that I wasn't going to have anything to drink until 9 holes in, right? So, and I got a lot of crap for that. Like, everybody in my group's like drinking from the get-go. Hey man, why aren't you drinking? I'm like, I want to try to keep it together. And the first hole,
he just played Duffers the weekend before.
Yeah, I'm
his
trying
liver
to
was
recover
so
from
pickled.
I'm trying to recover from Duffers review last weekend. You guys, you don't understand until you see it, so don't. But the first hole that we teed off on is actually a signature hole here in Reno. It's this par 3, it's like 190-yard par 3 downhill onto this island. And Colin knows what I'm talking about. It's like
So
this,
hold on.
like,
You're not about to tell me the very first hole you played.
no.
Oh, okay. I was like, come on.
Oddly enough, that hole was not sponsored by. It was sponsored by a photography company that was taking shots of people on the tee box, and it's like, of all holes, that hole should have been like the title sponsor or the biggest sponsor, right, for the hole-in-one challenge. And on that hole, I hit closest to the pin to help knock us in for the first like birdie. So I was like pumped. I'm like, yeah, I'm playing pretty good today. And it kept rolling throughout the day. And so that was 15. So I told myself, I'm like, I'm not going to start drinking until hole, I think it was like 6 or 7. Yeah, because I was like, I want to like maintain like sobriety to see if I can at least not make an ass out of myself
You
on the
savage,
golf course.
How do you hold out
Dude,
that long?
it was hard, dude. It was really difficult.
He wasn't playing Duffers rules. That's for damn sure.
I was not playing Duffers rules.
After 3.
I had plenty. I had plenty of Duffers rules still in my system from the weekend before. Okay, so I was okay. But I mean, everybody in my group's taking shots. They're pounding long drinks. They're freaking shotgunning beers, and I'm just like, I'm gonna hold off. So that was until like hole 6, and then we get to hole 12, which is a par 3, 175 yards over water, and the Reno Audi dealership sponsored it. And I honestly, like, you don't go in there thinking like, oh, I'm gonna have this expectation. I want to try really hard to win this car. We just got done, literally the hole before, just got done taking a shot. I took a shot of Fireball or something, and I'm like, all right, cool. So, the first 2 guys, there was 2 guys and me and then a girl, and the first 2 guys took their shot off the tee box and had pretty decent shots. And then I took my shot. It was an 8-iron, and as soon as I hit it, these guys are behind me going, oh, it's looking good. It's looking good. And everyone's trying to be encouraging. Oh, it's looking good. I'm like, yeah. And then it drops about, 3.5 feet right of the cup. I don't know how the hell there was side spin, but it rolled. and just went in the hole.
And that's
I mean,
that's the island hole, correct?
no, the island hole was the first hole I hit from.
Okay.
The shotgun
All right.
start. So this was number 12, just over a little.
Oh, 12. Okay.
Yeah, that little, that little body of water there.
Yeah.
And so when I saw it go in, I mean, at first I thought it stopped at the pin, but then I saw like the hole like disappear, or the ball disappear. And I'm like, what the hell? And I like my soul left my body for a second because everybody around me is freaking the fuck out. And then one of the tournament directors, who I know, just happened to be driving by on the golf cart and stopped to watch me tee off. And he literally like was on his cart and jumped out of his cart. The brake wasn't on the cart, so the cart rolled back a little bit, and he jumped out of the cart to run out and grab me. He's like, what the hell? And I'm still like, what just happened? And it was like, not only was I stoked that I got a hole in one, everyone was like, dude, you got this car! You won this car! And I'm just like, okay, well, I won a car, and there's that. And so, I mean, it was insane. I mean, I felt awesome. It felt awesome. The shot felt amazing, but the fact that it rolled in the hole was like, what? So, yeah. So that's how that went down.
So here's what's funny about this. And if I'm not mistaken, and I think I have the cool footage here for you guys. This is Nick calls me, right? And it's like, he's calling, he's bullshitting, he's like, he's like, oh my god, I just hit a hole in one. I just won a car. Now, any true duffer knows like bullshit, whatever. Like, I'm not falling for that.
If you call bullshit, you got to make the shot.
Right?
Like, he's got a point.
Like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, nah, I'm like, I don't believe this nonsense. And then I kind of pause, and I'm laughing because I'm going, why would he call me of all people? Like, unless Colin, and I'm expecting Colin to hear him laughing or something in the back, like they're going to try some practical joke on it. And I'm like, I said, I don't hear Colin. I'm like, and that's some Navy bullshit. Like, if this was legitimately trying to be a practical joke or some shit like this, it would be him laughing or something. We're gonna get him, ha ha ha. So then I'm like, dude, hey, congrats, everything like this. I'm pumping him up, not trying to piss on his parade or anything like this. I hang up the phone. I'm like, the fuck, I really hit a hole in one, right? I was like, I just watched him play last weekend, right. So then I see this post, and I'm sitting there with I'm sitting on the couch. I'm sitting there with my wife, and I'm like, holy fuck. She goes, what? And I'm like, Nick actually did win a freaking Audi. And he goes, my wife, without a kidding, she goes, what? I show her the thing, and she goes, well, this is some duffer bullshit. How come you're not winning me a car? All the bullshit you're doing.
Yeah, where you at?
I'm like, I was like, babe, there's a major difference. I go, when I play the par threes, it's on my dime. I'm not aiming. I'm hitting every club but the right club.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it
Sandbagging.
So I go, my luck one of these days is I'm going to fire it off to the right. It's going to hit a cart path, bounce up, roll down, and in. I'm going to be standing there going, what the fuck? Like this.
Dude.
So I love this that he had to post it. Now, here's the thing. Here's the real question is, have you heard anything? Tell me it's in your garage by now.
No. So Colin's had to hear me bitch about this all week, because
so when they do these, they take out insurance policies in case they actually lose the vehicle to a hole-in-one competition. And with insurance shit, it just takes forever. So the whole investigation and everything is ongoing, but it's going to happen.
So now this was the next when I saw this. I'm like, I go, first of all, I mean, you got it on film. People are filming it. That's awesome. There's plenty of witnesses. I got everyone's information to stand there right there. Like, hey, who are you? I need all your information because you're going to be here to justify this. Now, here's the question. Did you have to, like some tournaments, you have to pay for the side pots, or you got to pay for the, to get into the other contest? Was this just it was just part of the tournament? It was everyone had a shot, or did you have to pay for like a shot at the hole in one?
No, it was everybody had a shot.
Everyone had a
that was
shot. So yeah, this is going to be very, very hard for them to dispute in any way, fashion, or form. On that, which is great news here. So here's what's funny, Duffers, so you guys know. I am all for it. I'm the most open. What are we going to do? Especially if I'm coming out, being hosting like this and that. That was it Friday morning? I think it was Friday morning. He's like, hey, we got to run this quick errand. We got to go over because I got to get a commuter car. So we're literally going back and forth. I'm like, sure, dude, whatever you got to do. I'm not in my own car or anything like this. It's not like it's not. So let's go.
Did you take any pictures of it?
No.
It's the one that had a commercial with hamsters riding in it.
Yeah.
This is what's so funny because it was a full blown, it was a subject piece over the whole weekend, right? It was like, oh no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to upset this one. I don't want to upset this one. This is a good deal. Is this not a good deal? And I'm like, dude, I get it because he's got the freaking Bigfoot, big rig, super truck, that costs him $5 to go check the mail, so I get it. So he's like, I just need a commuter car to get back and forth from work. Totally understand. And so I'm helping my 2 cents or wherever it is, on the car he's looking at, and they finally kind of choose one. They're like, oh yeah, I think we chose this and that. So then they get this phone call to go, the very 3 things that he was like, babe, as long as I can put a stereo in it that has Sirius XM or something, I can listen to my music, right? That I could do GPS or something in it, and it's got AC or something. Those are my 3 variables that I can have for this commuter car. That's all I care about. So then all of a sudden, when is it Q5, right?
Yeah. So, but it's even crazier because they had the Q5 on display, right?
Yeah.
But I talked to the dealership general manager, and apparently that was just there for display. They're going to allot me $54,000 to buy whatever car on the lot that I want. So it's like,
okay. Or you can allot. I'm sure they give you the option to take a cash value as well, right?
He didn't buy that policy. There's 2 policies they can buy. They can buy both or one or the other. They can do a car or a cash out policy. But the crappy part is if you select the cash out policy, you have to fill out a 1099 and then you get raped on taxes for the payout.
But you're gonna hit on taxes on this car regardless.
Yeah.
But
well, it's going to be significantly less. So.
But here's what's cool though. I mean, it's kind of like there's nothing worse than you're doing something and you're doing it for the sake of this just doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense for me to drive $1,000 one way, in gas, or I can get a simple car just for that. I can still it's still there. I could go roll with the boys and do all the toys and aspects of the truck the truck brings to you, but to turn around on the very next weekend. And this is where I literally was I was gonna send a message to you guys. I'm going, this is the karma of such a good heart that Nick has, right? For coming out, hosting, putting me up, the whole variable, running around, setting up all the different, sponsors that, jumped out and wanted to get on board. That was the karma of the whole thing. It paid tenfold. It wasn't the trip to Vegas that he needed. He needed the Q5, right? He gets to now roll around in style, back and forth. You can put it in eco mode and just, pimping in style back and forth.
Now, Colin and I are going to have to drive down to Arizona in that Audi to visit your ass.
100%. And if you don't get a custom license plate that has some variable of hole in one, then you shouldn't be driving it.
No, it's gonna. I was actually, I didn't even. So Colin came to me after lunch, but we were talking about it, and I was sitting on my phone, and one of our coworkers in the hangar was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, I'm actually trying to figure out what custom license plate is available through the Nevada DMV for hole in one. And because I mean, I have to. That's like, you can't not win a free car and not have a license plate that signifies what brought you that car.
Listen to this nonsense. Look at this, gentlemen. This is going to be an interesting one. So you guys heard about it. And I'm only doing this impromptu because these gentlemen, they like to stalk me, right? And we talked about it when we were in Nevada, and I'm going to bring them into the house here. Pick'em Pros. is deciding to bombard the podcast right now.
Oh,
Their 2 cents to the table on something.
what's up, shit talkers?
They're talking such mad trash, and I keep on telling them, like, hey, pick up the phone. Let's get this on the calendar. I want to calendarize this. I need an official date since I'm the one always traveling to North Carolina, and they're so scared to come play in Arizona because
What are they? They're called the Pick'em Hoes. What?
So look, it's raining.
Oh,
You want me to come play in the rain? Diego
Hey,
and
what's
Derek
up?
in the house in the 19th.
Bro,
Gentlemen,
what's up,
what
bro?
is up? First of all, I gotta give Diego some mad props. I'm gonna give you some flowers before I give you some grief. Diego, so Pick'em Pros is a father-son.
Very good, by the way.
I guess your best. It's because it's all sports. It's not just football, right? So they're picking variables of different sports. You know, who's going to win this week, and they put their variables. They have some father-son challenges. Who's doing, the chores this week? Who's not doing it? Well, they have a very unique twist this year. They went and got. Why am I mind blanking?
Desmond Clark.
Thank you, Desmond Clark, to be part of the shenanigans. Diego and Derek, they set down their picks. Desmond set down their picks. Diego takes the chain. You got the chain in the car? Do you have it with you?
No, I don't have it with me right now.
Yeah. So they've got this really cool chain, which I give him some props for. I was like, all right, that's cool. Until they see the Duffers belt I bring to the tournament, and they're really going to be challenging. They're like, oh shit, we really got to play our A game. But Diego was wiping the floor with these guys with their picks. So Diego comes out, he does his little podcast and shows them out. I've never seen such comedic relief to me in my life than Desmond's response of wanting to chime in, talking about I needed a tie or I tied, and I'm like, you're really gonna you guys are giving me grief about playing Pick'em Pros and coming in and trying to take the belt away from the Duffers with Diego. I'm like, a call out's a call out. I was like, he's gonna learn to play man style one way or the other. I said, but Desmond, come on, bro. Like, you played. You should have known. You should have been able to pick a little bit better than that. I could have told you Aaron Rodgers was going to go out in the first freaking quarter myself. I don't know about the rest of the freaking world. The dinosaur's a dinosaur. There's a reason why Brady told him you should retire too. Like, your time is up.
Right.
So,
Right.
Diego, what is up?
Butch, man, happy to be here, man. Just wanted to come in and crash the party. We just got done with our training regimen. Just pounded some food down, and yeah, man, just figured we pop in, man, in between grubbing. Yeah.
So this is my favorite of these guys. These guys are the epitome of what is it? It's Baxby's or what's the chicken place over there? See, I knew it. He had it in his hand. Didn't even see the logo.
Here.
Zaxby's.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that how it is? Zaxby's?
Yep. Zaxby's.
Official sponsors.
Yeah.
The one in Clayton, North Carolina. So don't.
There you go.
It's
Got it out.
the official Pick'em Pros healthy eating sponsorship that take on the Duffers in the golf battle.
You got carbo load.
Like Diego, making sure he's chowing down on his chicken nuggies, trying to get ready and prepared to take on, the Duffers in the final
Is
championship.
that a shot?
He's got to do something. He's got to put some kind of weight on. If he thinks he's gonna step up, I don't know how much further tease we got to give him. There's the tips. There's like 3 in the middle. Then there's the red. Then there's like the juniors, and then there's like a drop zone. Is that where he's gonna be playing? Is up from the drop zone?
You see, you're smashing. You can speak for yourself, man. How you hit it?
I've been playing from the red tees recently, and I could probably play from the whites if I wanted to.
If you wanted to. All right. Well,
If I wanted to.
I think you could.
Really
Yeah, me too.
got the Reno crew on Diego's side. What the hell?
Hey man, I'm hype daddy, dude. I'm all for everybody, dude.
30 seconds, she turned my crew against me. And he's like, nah, he's got it. Man.
Yeah, you got it, man. Play from the
Yeah.
black
That's it.
teams all the way in the back, dude.
Tips.
You got
tips. So I play from tips.
it. Yeah.
So,
Right.
first of all, I love that you guys are in. We have to get an official dialed-in call so we can get all the travel coordination done and locked. Just as I told Nick, I was like, dude, if it's not on the calendar, it is never going to happen. We'll slide by it left and right, and we have to make adjustments. And I know you're crazy busy because he's still being Derek is the unofficial mayor of North Carolina. This guy runs around in more TNT Creative is. Here's what's funny is I know TNT Creative from helping me do editing and stuff in season 1, everything putting together. As far as what TNT Creative actually does and what you see them doing out in support of multiple different charities, events, business bureau events, and handing out shoes to everyone. I don't know what the hell he's doing other than being man of the people. Like he's just the unofficial mayor of North Carolina running around doing nothing but good for any and everywhere I see. So it's kind of hard, at times to like go to battle with him online when his very next post is like, I'm out here with Ann so-and-so and we're getting her some shoes for her charity event out here. I'm like, yo, you are making me the villain. Like there's no, like there is no other option for me to be, with this. And I'm like, this guy's got his suit and tie on talking about, and we're here today saving children from burning buildings. By the way, Duffers, we'll see you soon.
You are the villain.
Like, what the heck? We got some stuff for him because I've got a few posts ready to go, but they're timed for when we have an official date. I can't release them without having an official date. So you guys gotta challenge, which is cool. We're gonna do a little bit of a shift here because I love the Pick 'em Pros. I wanted to do one more thing with you guys while we had them all. Since we have the Pick 'em Pros in the house, the next big event is the Ryder Cup selections. All right. Well, it's not even the selections anymore. It's really just the Ryder Cup. All right. The selections have been made. So here, I want to go around the horn here, and I want to love to see the Pick 'em Pros view of this. I'm going to get an official Pick 'em Pros review here.
USA.
You're going USA?
No, go ahead. I want to. I'll just mess with you.
Well, here's the thing: is are you going USA just for the sake of like, hey, whether we win or lose, I'm always going to go USA, or do you actually think they have a shot at
blind loyalty to the flag?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, come on, we have a freaking Marine and a Navy officer. Like, come on. Like,
Right.
So here's the thing. I understand that, and I'm by just natural diehard. If somebody were to say just blindly, who you taking? USA. It's literally Europe versus USA. It's a no-brainer. Now, if you start to actually ask me who and how they're going to pair everybody up, how are they going to do? Let me fix this for you guys.
I can't see what you got.
yeah, it's so tiny.
I got you.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Hovland.
So I have the European team up here. So last week I talked about this, and I'm going to get your guys' perspective. Right here is that is all right. That is everybody. All right. So here's everybody on Team Europe. I have everybody on the screen. The 12 guys you see. Do you know all 12? Roy McIlroy, John Rahm, Robert McIntyre, Victor Hovland.
Yep.
So you know all 12. You can say you know all 12 players.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have no life.
Yeah.
I don't know half of them. And here's the
So you don't watch PGA? Okay, we got it.
No, I watch PGA, but there's a lot of no names here.
He's a live guy.
I mean, some are bigger than others. I understand that.
100%. And that's what I mean. Do you think the names here are the names that should have made the Ryder Cup team?
Maybe not all.
I don't know enough about the European players, but I can tell you that at least 3 of those guys on the top there are obviously good enough to play in the Ryder. It's hands down.
McIlroy, They all
Hovland.
deserve a share
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Fitzpatrick is good. Yeah.
I agree. So Hovland, McIntyre, Rom, McElroy, the top four have namesake that can be there. Fitzpatrick, a little bit. Everybody knows Fleetwood. Fleetwood, he's kind of like the underdog that you're waiting to really win.
The mullet.
Rose has been around forever. I think they're bringing him on for the fact that he's played multiple times. You need some seniority who's been there before. But Hogard, Eberg, Straka, like Hatton, come on. Like this right here, I think is the direct result of the Live Tour. You're about to see one of the biggest major outside of the Masters and everything like this. This is probably one of the biggest, watched, just camaraderie. Oh crap, Europe versus USA. This is almost like FIFA, World Cup. Like it's not necessarily namesake, right? It's Europe versus USA. Like everyone said here, oh, it's by default we're going to go for USA. But I'm looking at the team lineups here and unfortunately, I think it's the same thing on Team USA. Team USA. Sam Burns, Cantley, Clark. Here's the thing: is I don't agree with probably about half, and I'm still confused on how the hell Brooks Koepka made the team.
Well, he's got the big stick, right? And I mean, honestly, like Patrick Cantlay he's had an amazing season in the past. Fowler, honestly, Fowler is my guy. He's been one of my fan favorites for the last, I don't know how many years, because he grew up racing motocross. I grew up riding and whatever with motocross, and he stepped into the game. Plus, he's a co-owner, and I think you may or may not know this, Dave, but he's a co-owner of the Long Drink, and that's a fan favorite. Colin knows that because that's what.
Well, I hope he's drinking it while he's out there, because
he's going to make money somehow, at least, I guess.
Yeah, he's got to get loose. I mean, when he won, what was the tournament he previously won a couple months ago?
I think it was BMW Championship. I think.
Was it? I don't. Was it? It wasn't the John Deere. It was just recently. It was. Oh, was it the same sponsor he had? Was it the Rocket Mortgage tournament?
It was either Rocket Mortgage or it was the BMW Championship. Was one of the two. But again, he was so close to winning the major, then he turned around and he ended up winning the one after it. He had the best putt where he just kind of stood there in the sense of I'm finally back here. Right?
Yeah, which regardless, man, he came back. The kid's got the freaking talent, no joke. And he is by far right now on the tour. He is by far my favorite golfer, and I'm stoked to see him on Team USA for sure, because that dude knows how to play golf. He knows how to have a good time, and he's just one of the most mellow dudes ever. So to see him on there is rad. But everybody else on that roster, it may not be some of the biggest names in golf for USA, but they're still big. And I think this roster, hands down, could beat anybody, and they could beat the European team. Yeah.
So here's the number side. I look at this. I'm all for Team USA, right? That's just the blood, in me. I'm also looking at. I think Tony Finau should have been here over some others. I think there's other people right now, statistic wise, who are way better suited to be chosen for this.
Such as
Tony Finau. Tony Finau should have made that cut.
I agree with you.
Great, right? But he's inconsistent and he doesn't win.
When was the last time JT won? When was the last time Spieth won?
Right. But you got Scheffler on there. Scheffler
guys haven't even finished in the top 10 in the last 5 events. Finau has.
This is what happens when there's a money power shift, right? You got a bunch of guys jumping over to Live, right? Who weren't really making the money they wanted to the way things were. So they jumped They're going over to live. They're making the good money now, and you're left with a USA team that's kind of botched down a little bit, and the selections get a little thinner on each side of the scale. So
So it's
but
kind of like
you have some like crazy hitters and some power dudes on both sides. But
here's a question for you then, because like in any other sport, right? You try to play where you're peaking at the end, right? You're coming off at the very end, right? Like when you want to go to win state, you don't peak mid-season, right? You don't run your best scores, mid-season. You try to make sure you're peaking at state. This is one of those scenarios. Those that tried to peak for the FedEx Cup, and then you go into the Ryder Cup, you're supposed to be playing the best golf of your life. This lineup is not the best golf of your life right now.
yeah, I give you that.
Right? I think that's the hard part. Now I look at this and go, if the live players, the over under of the names here, I think are almost 6. I think 6 of these names wouldn't be on this roster right now had there not been a live tournament. Derek, would you agree?
Oh yeah, there's no question about it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah,
probably.
Definitely impacted it for sure.
And it's
it's a money and power shift. It is occurring
really
right now, and it's never happened before, and now we're witnessing it. So
that's where it's like I look at this and go, one, the only live player out of both rosters is friggin' Koepka, which I'm only assuming that he won that one major is how he got a chance to be selected. That's the only common denominator that I see, because if I was Team Europe, Ian Poulter would have been my number 1 pick. He's Mr. Almost Undefeated for Team Europe. Like, he is the best performing Europe player when it comes to the Ryder Cup, regardless of PGA Tour wins, everything, and all those other variables. He is the best Ryder Cup player in probably Europe history. So to not be selected is kind of like
right,
you're playing your A game.
Yeah, it's like a big.
What was the requirement for him to win that?
Yeah,
and it might be like this could be completely off the wall, but it could be an entertainment value too. Like what players were not expected to win but came back with the vengeance. So it was the Rocket Mortgage tournament that Ricky Fowler came back in, and I mean that guy. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go on a Ricky Fowler tangent for a second, but I mean that guy came back after so many years of trying so hard to win and not being able to make the cut, and coming back after working his ass off and saying, "Hey man, I'm back." And so you got to wonder if tournaments like this, such as the Ryder Cup, are going to select players that they know have the capability to show the world that they can maybe not be on the top spot for a while, but then come back and be that hero, be that golf hero. And
Team player. This is what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is a team selection, and I'm reading something. There's tea leaves here that I'm not reading, right? Because by the stats, these are on both sides of the accord. These are not the players that should have been chosen for the Ryder Cup. That's just my opinion. I talked about that last week. Diego, what is your big takeaway for the Ryder Cup?
Well, I sort of agree. There should have been some players that made it on both sides, and I think it really depends on who's going to win. I think where it's played is going to really impact who's going to win. Because I think these rosters are very evenly matched up.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I mean, because if you look at it, I mean, with the caliber of players and how they've done over the past decade in the tour, you have a pretty even keel match. So I agree with what he said for sure.
course matters.
Yep.
Health matters. Everything. So it all plays in. Yeah. Maybe they're just picking a good team for what they think can make it. So
I think I've been going back and forth on this for the last couple of weeks because they had a good 2.5-3 weeks before the Ryder Cup plays next weekend. So there's obviously a lot of training and stuff going into play. I'm hoping the teams are really getting together to build the team camaraderie around it. I think it's actually going to be a very, very close, like down to the last person playing the last ball tournament. I don't think this is
I
going to
agree.
run out where somebody one team takes it over the other one and a whole bunch of people can stop playing because it's already been locked up. I think this is going to come down to we're watching the final two pairings or something come in for point and score.
And who would you say is going to be in that final pairing? Yeah, I got you there, didn't I?
I think. All right, so here you go. I'll put my foot in my mouth right now. I think for Europe, it's going to be one of two players. It's going to be Rahm or McIlroy. If it's going to come down to their points, and I think for Team USA, which is going to suck, I think it's going to come down to them having to perform. It's going to come down between Jordan and Thomas. Both of them have come in so weak, and I don't think should have been chosen, that they are going to have to show up to win to get their points. It's going to be their play that's going to determine it. I think Rory and Rahm, I have a feeling they're going to come in overconfident. I think there's going to be a little upsets there that they're going to have to all of a sudden, oh shit, I got to play on that side of the house, because everybody else on the European roster is like, holy crap, we got picked, and I think they're going to come in extremely focused. Where Rose, McIlroy, Rahm, these guys have been there, they've done that dance before. I think they're going to come in a little lackadaisic because the U.S. team has a lot of players that are just, they shouldn't have been there. There should have been other players that should have been there. That's my perspective on that one there. All right.
Does anybody else have a final thought on that? Because I want to hear if you do.
I do. I want to give Derek and Diego, because he's driving, so I want to make sure he's.
Yeah, you guys are in the car.
I know. So I'm going to toss it to you guys for final thoughts, and you're going to hit me up this weekend so we can put an official date on the calendar, so we can start this campaign of your guys' destruction officially, to the mark. So, final thoughts on the Ryder Cup from the Pick'em Pros. This is where it should matter most. Their opinion should matter most. I think Diego's something. I think he's managed to bring in $20,000 in bets so far this season, just in 2 weeks. So, I'm telling you, you should watch his picks. You can make some dough. Final thoughts on the Ryder Cup from the Pick'em Pros.
Yeah, I love Diego's take on where it's going to be. Mattering if it's in Europe, they know how to play links courses better. But where is it?
It's Rome.
It's in
Rome.
It's a home. It's in U.S.
No, Rome. Rome.
Oh,
It's
Rome.
Rome.
Oh, yeah. If it's Rome, man, that's gonna be tough. I mean, damn, they already have Rahm and McIlroy, and then if it's in Rome, yeah, I don't know, man. I think if I'm putting money on it, I'd have to put it on Europe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do truly believe, I think Europe has a home field advantage in course and play. I was doing the flyovers and flybys on the course. Again, this is where when you look at statistics, this is hard because I don't think this plays in Europe's favor. It really does.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be. See, we'll be pulling for USA, but yeah, if I'm putting anything that I care about down on it.
All right, so
he's trying to play it smart. I get it.
So one last call out to the Pick'em Pros here. Who's your favorite pick this week in the NFL? Give it to me. Who you got?
This week.
Oh, favorite team. Favorite
yeah.
team?
What's your big upset? What's your big call for this week?
Wow. Okay. Well, I tell you what. We'll give you a few things. We'll give you our. Although you might want to revise yours. Before the season started, we had Super Bowl predictions. So we'll give you that, and then we'll tell you for this week. So who you got in the Super Bowl?
I had the since I had the Bengals and the 49ers.
Okay.
With the Bengals.
Dude, I was trying to back you. I was trying to back you so much.
I love this
Wow.
kid already. I love
Still
this kid
confident?
already.
You still confident in the Bengals?
Well, it's early in the year.
It's early.
So I'm not gonna give up on him.
Depends on Burrow. All right. But the Niners are looking good, though.
I might have to switch to the Niners.
The Niners are looking good. I picked the Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh,
And I had the Baltimore Ravens winning it. So that's still looking strong. As far as this week, I have a huge upset. I picked the Commanders to beat the Bills. So that's my upset. That's my upset special of the week.
Oh, that's a big one. That's a lot. That could really shake up who gets the chain this week amongst you guys.
Oh yeah.
That could be the game changer right there. Diego, who's your roster?
My big upset, I have the Aaron Rodgers-less Jets beating the Patriots.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, that's your. And that game is that's in New England, right?
No, it's in New York.
Oh, it's in New York. Okay.
Oh yeah,
but they're
that's
still
dumb.
going with I got the Patriots in that, but yeah. You're on the island. Are you on the island with that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You're on the island by yourself. So Des and I have New England on that one. So yeah, those could be the games that decides who has the coveted Pick'em Pros chain going into next week.
I can tell you this right now. If you're not and you haven't, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Pick'em Pros. This duo here is absolutely hysterical for me to watch. I have to refrain so much from trolling them in their own environment with some of these nonsense call outs and stuff that they're doing, since they refuse to invite me on to a throw my picks and watch them go undefeated for the week. They're just too scared of it. They're just like they don't want to see my lineup for each week. They've seen the multiple fantasy football belts and championships that I've carried over the years. They're just like, we'll go get Desmond. We'll go get Desmond. He seems like he's a little bit more, suitable. I mean,
worthy opponent.
Shout out for mentioning my Niners, by the way. Thank you very much. Because roll your eyes all you want, Dave, because you know what? I'm telling you right now, son.
When does so here we go. So let's do the crosstown cut. Do the Niners play the Raiders this year?
No.
Oh. I bought tickets.
If they did, Colin and I would be in Las Vegas whenever it happened, because Colin's a Raiders fan. I'm a Niners fan. I would have
gotten tickets for everybody for that one right there. I'd have made that one.
Totally. We would expect you to.
Oh my God.
It would be like
just so I can laugh in your face when the Raiders destroy the.
That would be really funny. No offense, Colin. That would be really funny.
Hey, one thing we did do. So halftime of the Arizona, because you can check out our feed. Halftime of the Arizona Cardinals New York Giants game, when the Cardinals were up 20, we posted during halftime, and Des had Des was on the island with this one. He had the Cardinals. We posted. We said, all right, Giants are down 20. Ownership, make the call. Go ahead and call the coaches. Tell the players they got to blow this. We know you want the number one pick, Caleb Williams. And right on cue, that's exactly what happened.
Right.
I saw that post. It was.
That's legit. I mean, that's pretty crazy, man.
That was a rough one. All right. Hey, for safety reasons, Derek, Diego, drive home safely. I see it's raining.
Yeah.
But carve out some time in your ultimately, superhuman, mayorship to put this matchup on the calendar officially, so we can scope this whole thing out. If we gotta wait all the way up to the next tournament, then then I'm gonna start raining all kinds of posts on you guys.
Yeah, be quiet.
Yeah,
it's coming to bear. So I love when you guys pop in. You guys are always welcome. I wish you guys were here every week. You guys bring ultimate entertainment for it, especially hearing some of the nonsense posts that you guys want to put up from a football standpoint. Diego, seriously, you got to start doing some research, man. Like you gotta do some research. You're making some seriously 49ers in the Super Bowl. Someone must be paying you underneath the table, Nick.
That's cute. That's cute.
So, Nick must be paying underneath the
Probably
table.
the
That's
last.
cute. I'm gonna laugh. You know what? I'm gonna make a rule right now. Everybody in this feed, including our boys down there, if the Niners make it to the Super Bowl, I think the Duffers should pay for all of us to go to his house down in Arizona to watch the freaking football game. Mark my words, everybody in this chat right now. If the Niners make it to the Super Bowl, he is paying for us to go down to his house and crash at the Duffer King's place
That's
to
fine.
watch the game.
I could do that. Greyhound's cheap.
And that's a green screen. That's not an actual house.
I was gonna say, it looks like you're like in a really nice clubhouse right now.
I'll get everybody Greyhound tickets for that one. Not a problem. All right, Pick'em Pros, you guys drive safe. We're gonna wrap up the Reno recap. Hey, love you guys. Hey, make sure you guys like and subscribe to Pick'em Pros. Some of the best father-son.
Thanks, guys.
You'll see, and actually some very, very good insight from both sides of the camp there. There's nothing better. Diego, you definitely should be wagering a little bit higher on the chores and stuff of making, Big Dad there do some things. Because you've had some pretty good lineups. I'm telling you, you put 20K in my pocket, on the Vegas DraftKings,
Go Diego!
I've got an entire account based on Diego's picks, so he's plus 20K in my wallet. So keep it up, buddy.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Waiting for
fellas. Thanks for having us.
All right.
Pros.
All right, later, boys.
I love those guys. Those guys are so good. So let's hit it because we've gone absolutely long, which is great. I love the fact that we've done this. I want to wrap up the Reno recap a little bit here.
So we got to talk about the courses a little bit.
When
Don't
can
we?
we see some footage?
Actual shorts will be coming out next week. Believe it or not, this is actually very comical.
Yeah, you've had a lot to edit.
So here's what's great. So just so you guys know, we had almost 375 gigs of footage downloaded, which is probably some of the most that I've downloaded on multiple courses and stuff like that. That comes to something around almost like, I think it's almost like 23 hours of multiple different footage and cuts of playing with amongst the 3 days of having to sit there and stare and go through, and some of the editing
That wasn't hard.
Live.
I do to make it easier on the editing team is I got to rewatch all of it, and then I rebrand it. This is first tee, ABC course, usable, not usable, B-roll, something like this. So it starts to kind of categorize it. So when that team gets it, and under the kind of the storyboard that we've created for what Duffers Reviews, is, they know exactly what folders to go grab certain stuff from and see and wear what pieces together and make it work. Well, between the fact that we've got Navy Marines,
Worth of.
so you have a Navy Marine aspect being played out throughout all of this. You've got just absolute guest Duffer thing. I do believe Bilbo Baggins shows up a few times to play with Nick on the tee box. Aaron, we had to bring in the Pink Panther and the Inspector Gadget to find out where he was at on the 2 second days.
You'll still never find him.
There's a hospital scene, like there's a whole thing. So there's a whole bunch of shenanigans we've been playing for and finding different footage and cuts to really make this entertaining for everybody. But we do have some shorts coming out next week. We purposely kind of put a pause into this week because Nick went and posted his hole-in-one. So I didn't want to rain on his hole-in-one parade this week. But next week it's full bore. It's coming. And speaking of full bore, it's because this thing's winning. Let's talk about this. I've been looking for it down here. I can't find it. You might actually have to get a bottle for me and ship it down to me. Nick has. We went to go refill some of the shenanigans of Duffers Review Dude Bag, and I was asking Nick, hey, what are some other? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? and we were looking for there's a root beer whiskey that's floating around out there, which is really great when you want to take people just take some random shots. And this here that he's holding here, this ultimate bottle, which I got to get and put into my collection.
It's a Howard pound.
Called Full Bore.
Full Bore.
Did you already take the front sticker off of it?
No, of course not.
All right, there it is. There you go. So Full Bore is a peanut butter jalapeno whiskey. And there is a reel coming out next week on us all having to take a shot from the Super Bowl. And this just goes to show when you're a duffer and you've been doing this long enough, some of us are champions at this, some of us are rookies, and you'll see that clip come out next week. Has the Full Bore went around the horn. I want to say that was at Washoe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Washoe. Yeah.
So, and then my favorite clip that I can't wait for to debut next week is going to be Nick calling out the duffer on his long drive. That footage came out phenomenal. I can't wait to display that challenge.
I can. I'll wait.
You can, you can wait only once.
Man.
It was great. Now here's what's cool. So I had sent a I wish I could think of it. I think it's two dudes, two something golf. It's the guy that did the vibe. It was the vibe meme or reel I sent you guys today.
Yeah.
So you guys, just to give a kind of shout out, Nick, phenomenal. He's been an absolute pleasure to put together these episodes and stuff with that you're going to see coming out. The surprise to the whole table was Colin. All right, Colin coming to the table is a guy that you should take out if you're in the Reno area. Make sure you like, subscribe, put in a note. If you're missing a fourth, hey, throw a note out in anything that he's tagged in. Your round will be absolutely worth every hysterical moment that he will bring to the table. All right. And if by chance you are any part of any armed forces, 100% add him to the table, because then it's going to bring a whole level of shenanigans that only that any of us from the armed forces will know and can talk to in the bantering back and forth amongst us all can understand. It made it so much fun that he was. Matter of fact, I think he beat us to all three courses, all 3 days. He was ready to go, which was absolute pleasure. So, Colin, mad shout out to you. The fallen man in arms. You're gonna have to get him on here one of these times, Nick. And Colin, and so he can at least defend himself on how he was not able to handle the Duffers rules. And apparently we broke his back, we broke his spleen, we broke his spirit. It was all the above in that aspect of what went down. So real fast, so we can wrap up this. We've gone way over in this little time slot here. We did play 3 courses. We played Washoe in Reno proper, right? That was in the Reno proper area.
Yep.
Then we played DeAndrea out in Sparks. And then we finished up at Red Hawk out in Sparks.
Correct.
From a Duffers playbook, they played very, very well. All of them had their perks, for their level of play, from the beer course to the mixed drinks to the premium course. My favorite, which I'll talk about right now here, happened to be the biggest one that kind of I was really upset of going into, was DeAndrea. DeAndrea was a 9-hole course. Everybody knows me as a duffer. You don't go play 9 holes. You gotta play 18, right? 18 is a round of golf. 9 hole, it would hurt me to go play 9 holes. I'd feel like I'd wake up in the middle of the night going, "Where's the 9?" Because I'd probably shoot the best front 9 ever and have the lead after 9. So the fact that we burned and turned it twice, made the 18 holes, really made it worthwhile. But I called it in the review. I said it in the review, and I will say it here. It's a sleeping giant. When they get the other 9 holes finished back up online and it becomes an 18-hole course, I think it'll probably be one of the most sought after courses in the Reno Valley area to play. Hands down. I thought at the beginning for $55 for 9 holes was absolutely ridiculous. At the end, I ate my words and said it was actually worthwhile. With the top tracer, driving range, dialed in for it. It is definitely also getting the Duffers Review Hidden Gem award. Go play it now. Learn that front 9. It was a very, very well maintained course. It played I think any skill level can go out and play that course as well. But it overlooks the entire valley. It's got some of the best views, some great houses and architecture on the course and stuff as well. When they actually finish and rebuild that clubhouse, I think it's going to. I think I put a prediction in 2025. If that's when they're speculating for it to be done, is it ends up in on the top 100 courses in Golf Digest. I do believe that. I think it has that capability to do so. But I definitely think it'll be in the top 3 amongst Reno's top courses in the Valley to play. That's my official review on that. You guys heard that here. Would you agree or disagree to that, Nick?
So, yes. I'm partial because I grew up playing a lot of the courses around here. I learned how to play golf at Washoe, which it was owned by the city or the county for many years, and the guy that bought it, Darren, who hooked us up with the round, he's done a phenomenal job. I mean, that course was shit for years, and he brought it back and made it something that it never was. So I can give all respect to Darren Minetti for hooking up the round, but also for making the course better than it ever was. So I'm going to say that first and foremost. Secondly, playing DeAndrea, they were at one point an 18-hole course, and it was a beautiful course in its day. It unfortunately, ran out of luck, and it was shut down years ago. And Mike Jory did a phenomenal job with his partners to bring that course back to make it what it is. It's a 9-hole course now, but like you said, there's big plans in the future. It's going to be as beautiful as it is now. Only an 18-hole course, and there's big plans. So I'm excited for the future. They have this great way of manicuring their fairways, their greens. If you remember, we were putting on greens that had some sand that slowed down our putts with some roost behind it. But at the end of the day, I mean, the views are phenomenal. The play rate was phenomenal. We had a great time. It was wide open. And I really think that at the end of the day, it's going to be a really beautiful course. So, and Red Hawk, shout out to Red Hawk. I mean, for our final day at Red Hawk, Red Hawk's always been kind of a staple in Sparks. They've been a private club for a long time. They went to private to semi-private, and they've done a phenomenal job with making sure that their fairways and their greens were well manicured. There's beautiful real estate surrounding it. So I'm glad we got to go out there and really showcase what the Reno and Sparks area has to offer. And so at the end of the day, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to really appreciate about what courses we have to play here. So yeah, I mean, that was awesome.
So, and Colin, I want your insight on that, because again, I think it's what really gives DeAndrea the Hidden Gem Award. Is I don't think we were pushed at all, if not ever, on that entire round.
No, it's a secret, and it's wonderful. They just opened up. It's like a phoenix from the ashes. It went from desert to paradise in 6 weeks, and what they've done with the greens is, and the course overall is amazing. Beautifully manicured, great speed, except for the greens were slow, but that's just because of the upkeep that they're constantly doing. It's a great place to go to wreck your mom's lady parts. The Washoe place to party with your shirt off, and you got to put the collared shirt on and button it all the way up for Red Hawk. But they're all three really good showcase courses, which is why we chose them for you. And it's not all we have to offer out here in the Reno proper Valley and Sparks Extended.
I can't wait to get back. I think it's going to be an absolute blast. I think you will see this crew right here, and a lot of other featured courses around the nation or something.
Well,
like that.
and that's the thing, man. Like, is there's many more to come. You got Duffers got a snippet of what we have to offer here. I mean, we didn't even dip into a couple of the other courses out here, even up in Lake Tahoe. My goal and my hope is that Duffers comes back out and we play some golf up in Lake Tahoe. There's a lot of cool stuff up there.
It's not a calendar invite. You put it on the calendar and we'll make it happen, right?
Well, we're going to talk about that in the conference here pretty soon. So.
So here's the great thing, guys. I appreciate you guys so much for showing up and talking about Reno. Reno is a hidden gem in its own right. I forever and a day thought I'd been to Reno before. Come to realize I've been to Laughlin, and absolutely mistaken, the aspect of what Reno was, until we were driving around, buying new cars, being Ubered out to breweries out in the middle of no man land, to shenanigans of our food waiting out at the front door for an hour and a half until the wife got home. So it was a full bore of events and shenanigans. Mad shout out to your dad. The guy can handle his liquor, and he did not back off of any challenge whatsoever. Despite Nick going, I don't think my dad's really going to get into the whole Duffer thing. He showed everybody.
Well, between Dave and Colin, you guys literally motivated Dad to take it to the next level. I mean, I've seen my dad play golf. I've watched him drink. I mean, my brother and I got him drunk playing golf on Father's Day, but it was nowhere near the excitement that Duffers Review brought. Because we
could have called bullshit a few times because he was just tired of taking shots. He was shit faced.
Dad, Dad was playing so good in his first few holes, and he gets to a point where he's like, he looks at me and he goes, "You know what, Nick? I don't know if I should start not trying." Because I'm really starting to get drunk, and I'm like, Dad, this is what you signed up for. I'm sorry. So,
it's one of my favorite episodes that I've been doing the playbacks through, because
can't wait to see the footage, man.
Well, this is why this whole next week is actually going to be pretty hysterical, because what you see of Nick on day one versus Nick playing with Dad is such a night and day. It's such a night and day that I might get a phone call from his dad going, "Who the hell is this guy? When did you guys play this? I didn't know he was this much of a knuckle nut, on day one to day three." I also think, and this is just a warning to all Duffers out there. All right, if you play with Duffers Review, I have a full-blown regimen of making sure my liver stays healthy. But it's also because I'm playing such shenanigans rules and stuff at this. I honestly feel like Nick, day 3, was like, "What time's your flight? Because I need to drop your ass off now. Because I need to go home and sleep through Wednesday."
You need
to
missile and shots after that.
True. You know what? That's not true. I was ready for 4 more days of Duffers Review. I feel shit.
So here's, which is really funny. This would have been the weekend for you guys to totally come down and party. The wife's leaving tomorrow morning, Saturday to Saturday. So I've literally got nothing but shenanigans and golf to go play all week. All around the Arizona Valley, and the weather's finally broken. Like we're topping off at 90. So morning tee times are like 70. You play up into 90. Like it's been phenomenal.
Colin, we need to go to Arizona.
Yeah, I think it's.
Hey, like I say, it's an easy drive, and what do you call it? Southwest has always got some great low flights.
You're out of your mind. That's like 10, 14 hours, bro.
No, here's the deal. Colin and I are gonna plan the trip in the new Audi down to Phoenix.
That's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
hole in one car. We're gonna drive
Hey,
down to Phoenix.
you buy the car. Nick, you buy the car. I'll buy half the gas.
Sold. Done.
Done. Absolute shenanigans. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys that have hung out this long. We went extra long, but look at the crew you got. You couldn't help but do this. And we've left a lot purposely on the table. As you're going to start seeing the shorts roll out this next week, I promise you there will be some great ones coming out from the shenanigans that we saw. And then the episodes themselves being able to drop and fall out online are going to be amazing. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. You can ask both of these gentlemen, post it in this video. They're attached to the video. Ask them what it was like to bring the Duffers out to go golfing, from playing 4 drinks to playing Duffers rules, just to even going out and hitting a brewery with some weird ska band. And it's crazy and nonsense that was going to. But mad shout out to Colin and to Nick for jumping in here and seeing at the 19th hole. This won't be the last time you guys see them. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, drop into the chat and the notes where you'd like to see the Duffers come play next. You never know. We could be in your backyard playing with you here real soon. With that, guys, keep on swinging. Till next week.